Well, you can't make this up. Klaus Schwab is out at the World Economic Forum, and who do they just slide in as an interim chairman? The new head of the WEF is a former CEO of Nestle. His name is Peter Brabeck-Letmathy. I don't even have to say his name. How would you say that? Brabeck-Letmathy? What a name. Look at this guy, though. Here he is. This is literally the new head of the WEF. I mean, and yeah, like everyone's like, well, what is going on with this weird, like bloody eyeball? And he does look a lot like Le Chiffre, doesn't he? From Casino Royale with the bloody dripping eye. Reminds me of this Bond villain easily. So this new guy, though, believes that water is not a human right, but a commodity to be sold and owned by the likes of Nestle. This is the same guy who argued that filling up your pool or washing your car shouldn't be a personal choice. Why? Because some unelected global body should actually be in charge of how much water you're allowed to use per day, you know, for the greater good. Listen to him.
About 50 to 100 liters per day. But not to fill a pool or wash a car. There is a difference. We must transform the way we think about water. By 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in regions without enough water. Water scarcity is the greatest challenge we face today. And we need to start recognizing water as a precious resource. Therefore, water should be better managed, should be better valued, and has to be better preserved.
Yeah.
By who is my question.
Right.
He has some points. Absolutely. That's
yeah, it is
true.
a precious. Absolutely, is precious.
Right.
But as President Trump pointed out a few months ago, obviously when dealing with everything that was going on in Maui, we have too much water. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of water. It's just being misused and not being
Nestle
used correctly.
Is a company that steals water. Like
yeah, I know. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some details. Yeah.
Not only that, but it's the same people that like had an actual like ad campaign in Africa to convince women to stop breastfeeding and use their formula.
Yes.
And so
yes, great point.
So I mean,
they steal water and they're using use our breastfeeding formula instead of actual breast milk.
What did Philip just say? What was your last sentence?
Oh, I was just saying that's the guy we want in charge of like everything. I guess the World Economic Forum, like that's going to go well.
Right.
Well, also Kamala Harris, you recall, I don't know if you guys remember this.
I remember.
She told us, remember, the next war is not going to be like a kinetic war in the traditional sense. The next war, it won't be over oil. It'll actually be over water. Watch.
And here's the other thing, because I also, I'm in a lot of meetings on foreign policy. For years and generations, wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over water. So when we think about building up our economy around our infrastructure on something like water policy, it's literally about jobs. It's about the fundamental source of life that Tammy Duckworth was talking about. It will sustain life. And it's about strengthening up our nation.
Yeah.
I saw Mad Max. I know how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, so you have these globalists, you have the, Kamala Harris, you have the new head of the WEF talking about water. So if you think that sounds bad, just wait. Under Brabeck's leadership, Nestle, and this is what David was talking about, extracted millions of liters of water from indigenous lands in Canada while local residents couldn't even get clean drinking water. According to reports, Nestle is one of the largest users of water in the food and beverage industry. And in 2023, the company withdrew approximately 95 million cubic meters of water globally. 37% of that came from water-stressed regions. So they knew the areas were bad, and they went in and took the water from them anyway. Nearly half of this water was consumed in their operations, and while the rest was actually discharged, they just dumped it back in the environment. So let's get this straight. Nestle can drain aquifers dry and sell it back to you in their plastic drinking water. It's brilliant, actually. It's a brilliant business model. We'll steal your water and then sell it back to you. But you're the bad guy for wanting to take a long shower, right? They're going to tell you how to regulate it. That's peak globalist hypocrisy. And it makes sense that he be leading the WEF at this moment.
You know that the internet is a jungle. And where do you keep all your family passwords? Where do you keep your family information, your financial information, your IDs, your tax documents, insurance, and more? Bunker is the one app that delivers supercharged privacy and security, letting you store, share, and communicate freely with those that you trust. Now, if you are a prudent chief home officer of your finances, you may think once a quarter, okay, I need to back up my documents, make sure that my taxes are filed, make sure that my loved ones know where to find it. Bunker is a great place to have that all in one spot. So it's not like this is where the Dropbox is, this is where the photos are, here's where my, the deed is to the house. You can have it all organized in one place. So if you had to choose one app for privacy, security, and peace of mind, check out Bunker. It's built by experts with 25 years of experience catching criminals and fighting cybercrime. It is super duper secure, and it's created to protect family and friends. Now available to you. So download Bunker from the App Store, Play Store, or visit bunker, bunkr.life. Use the code Redacted and you'll get your first 3 months free. So one more time, that's bunker, bunkr.life. Use the code Redacted. You get the first 3 months for free. Well, the YMCA proudly allows men and women to pick the gender and then use the locker room they feel like, because that's how they roll. It was only a matter of time until that policy exploded in their face. And it did, in fact, in Kansas City recently. This Missouri man, pretending to be a woman, exposed his genitals to a 7-year-old girl and her mother in the women's locker room. And it was at the North Kansas City YMCA, where hundreds of children attend for various classes and such. Here is how the local news reported it. Okay. Actually, I'm quite surprised that the local news called him a man and said it was his genitals, because up until this point, we've had news agencies calling trans identify, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know.
Trans identified men, we were using their preferred pronoun. And so we had a lot of media that were saying her penis, which should never happen. There was no her penis. It was his penis that was exposed. Said penis belonged to a male. I'll stop saying the word penis. Okay, so we dug into where the YMCA gets its funding, and it turns out, you may be surprised, that the YMCA leverages approximately $1.5 billion each year in grants, with more than $600 million coming from government sources. Not only that, we found that the YMCA, across the country using federal dollars, still using vast DEI programs for children, including after-school DEI programs, all paid for with your tax dollars.
So it's based on something they call the diversity wheel. So take a look at this on your screen. This is the diversity wheel, which allows for gender self-identification. And among their core beliefs are the following. Let's read it. Core dimensions are central to our personal experience. They've sustained influence in our lives and are often the dimensions that we most closely identify with. Many of these dimensions are unchangeable, reflecting how we were born, though some may change over the course of our lives, including faith, beliefs, values, ideology, but gender and gender identity. So all of this can change. And oh, by the way, your race can change. Your sexual orientation can change. So yes, your DEI dollars at work, your hard federal dollars, your tax dollars at work for DEI programs at YMCA. I tweeted a few minutes ago about this, and I asked Elon Musk, hey, Elon, you over there at Doge, like, why is YMCA getting $600 million of our tax dollars to fund these things and allow these,
I thought the government banned DEI.
I thought so too.
Why is this allowed?
And it's right on their website. Just go to the YMCA's main website. It's right there. You can read all about their diversity wheel and how they're running these DEI programs. So Elon, hit me back. Listen to the creation of this company. So Phyllis, lady named Phyllis, she walks into a neighborhood pharmacy in Colonia, New Jersey, and asks the pharmacist for an antioxidant cream for her wrinkles. And the pharmacist says, you know what, I'll compound one for you. Just come back tomorrow. So then she uses it. She comes back, she buys it, and she uses it for 3 days. And then she goes to her dermatologist appointment. The doctor just looked at her, thinks she's got some work done, like she got plastic surgery done. And so Phyllis tells everyone about the pharmacy and the pharmacist who made this magical cream. And that's, believe it or not, how Genucel skincare was born. Genucel, and Natalie loves this, and actually now my 12-year-old daughter has been stealing it and using it as well, because they're two peas in a pod, those two ladies. But it's great for the under eye serum, bags and puffiness, and just really making your skin look Very, very nice. That was 25 years ago when she walked into that pharmacy. Genucel has then since then shipped millions of orders, and yet they still have the exact same philosophy of antioxidants, same natural base, and the same chef in the kitchen. They're celebrating 25 years. And right now you're going to get 50% off your membership pricing to celebrate their 25 years on Genucel's complete skincare package, featuring their under eye bags, puffiness treatment, jawline sculpting treatment, and immediate effects for results in minutes. You can look 5, 10, or even 15 years younger, guaranteed, or your money back. So they'll send you your money back if you're not happy with it. So right now, go to genucel.com/redacted. Every order includes free shipping. Just use the code redacted at checkout for an extra discount. So there it is, genucel.com/redacted. All right. Well, hey, moments ago, a stunning announcement out of Washington. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. officially declaring that artificial food dyes are done in the United States. That's right. As of this afternoon, the Secretary of Health and Human Services declared a nationwide phase out of petroleum-based food dyes, the kinds found in cereals, potato chips, sodas, candles, snacks. Basically, the entire American grocery store is going to be affected by this.
Wait, you can't put dyes in a candle? You're not supposed to eat the candle.
No, but I don't know exactly, but I think
nobody else is eating candles.
I went to a sushi restaurant last night, and they brought the sauce for the sushi, the nigiri, and it was clear. And I was like, I thought that was, he's like, it's a sweet sauce, but we don't put red dye in it anymore.
Oh. How'd it taste? The same?
It tasted the same. It was great.
Imagine that.
Have you seen the clear ketchup? That weirds me out a little bit. It looks like hair gel.
Ew, that's weird.
I know.
But see, this is why we have this problem, right? So the people like think that things need to look a certain way, like this apple needs to be this shiny object, right? But in fact, no, it doesn't need to have that preservative coating around the outside of it. What is that company Peel that Bill Gates runs?
Right.
It's like it reminds me of the non-nutritive furniture varnish or food varnish from Christmas Vacation that you remember Clark works.
Yeah.
And he made that like non-nutritive cereal varnish to keep the milk from like cracking it down. It's like, so we need to get over these things, you know? And anyway, but let that sink in. The United States government just declared war on red 40, yellow 5, all the rainbow colored toxins big food has been pumping into your kids for decades. So this is all part of his big Make America Healthy Again program. Now this video, and it hits really home because the same dyes that are banned in Europe are still included in U.S. versions of those same exact brands, and Americans are fed up about it. We just talked to Toria Brooke a few minutes ago, on fertility issues in the United States. All of this processed food, like why are fertility rates dropping, precipitously? Listen to this woman. She went viral yesterday.
At this point, how are you not just curious? How do you not want to just try something different? Look around. Look how many young people have cancer nowadays. Children have cancer. Look at the skyrocketing rates of autism. How come none of us can handle dairy anymore? None of us can handle gluten. Everyone has allergies. Dogs. You have to have health insurance for your dogs now. Dogs are getting cancer. Like, look, the food's poison, the water's poison, the soil's messed up. These companies have no liability. I'm just at the point where I'm like, is it like an ego thing, especially with people on the left? Like, you just don't want to be like, oh, everything I've been told is like a lie. They're purposely making sick because they profit off of it. It's like, no, wake up. None of this is normal, and it didn't used to be this bad, and it's only going to get worse as well.
I think what she's alluding to, people say, no, I can't be worried about that because if I pull the thread, how far will I go? Will I regret the vaccines I gave my children? Will I regret the decisions I've already made in my life? Yes, that happens when you take the red pill. And so there are so many people who are afraid to question any narrative because it has to be this package of, I believe everything that the media tells me. And I understand how painful it is, but there's no choice. You either live in denial or you don't.
Phil DeGore in our chat says red dye was taken out of cosmetics in the 1980s. Is that true? So you couldn't put it on your face because they knew it was terrible for your face, but there's like, but you can still drink it in your like diet weird cherry flavored thing, Anyway, so it looks red, it must be cherry, but it's made up of like weird chemicals and red dye and all this stuff. So anyway, that's good news. So I just want to say this, last 2 weeks ago, we had Dr. Robert Malone on the show. And we talked with Dr. Robert Malone about this, about, a lot of people were getting antsy about RFK Jr. because he'd been in there like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. And he said, just give it time. I know he's working on some big things. Just have some patience here.
Yes.
And then, all right, we get him banning fluoride.
Yeah.
Or moves towards banning fluoride, and we get this now. So that's 2 huge, huge things.
Right. That's a big checklist. And the same thing, Nicole Shanahan, when she was gracious enough to come on the show, said the same thing. Like, there is an agenda. We know he still cares about these things. They're coming. So, okay, we're a little impatient. We apologize. But yeah, good on them for doing that.